Okay, this has got to be the crappiest start I have had on a stream in a long time. Okay, looks like Mike's working, everything else working. Um, all I can tell you, Swordstake, is on your Xbox app, my login, my handle for you to connect to me is KCFROMWI, Kansas City, uh, two letters, FROM, and then WI. And that's all I know how to tell you. I'm Bedrock, but if you have a PlayStation login, I don't know how to find that. You have to find me on the Xbox app. That is my Bedrock login. I only play on the Xbox. If I played on the PC, I could better explain that to you. If I played this on the PS4, I might understand what you're talking about. But I'm telling you, that is the only way I know how to find you is through the Xbox app. And I don't know, because usually I find Xbox logins. And that's usually your Minecraft login, but it's all through the Xbox. And I don't know, tell you, I keep asking you to have an Xbox name that I can look for, and you keep telling me it's Bedrock. I'm only going to be able to find you if it's an Xbox. And since that wasn't working, I gave you my Xbox handle so you can find me, and that's all I can really do. I'm going to kill that guy from the thorns on my armor. Yee. This is Ziggy. This is Ziggy right here. This right here is what I just got done, and I think I need to put some more quartz steps down. Okay, that gives you my Twitter handle and both my YouTube streams. You can contact me on Twitter, and I can't do it during the stream, but you can contact me there, and I can try and get some more information. I just can't do it during a stream. I don't know if I've got Discord set up on this yet or not. If not, I'm going to have to set that one up and a few others. I might have to redesign this. I didn't. Might have to redesign that in a better spot. I don't know, or move it a little. I don't know if he'll be on here or not. There's a he plays. Well, he's the guy who does the recruiting for the SMP that I'm on, the server that I'm on. But if Lonely Biker shows up and starts chatting in here, he's the guy you got to talk to about joining the server. If you would want to join the server, he's in charge of that. I'm not. And then BC Snowball, he's another one that may or may not, but he's the he runs the server. And I don't know if he's going to be on here or not. It's his birthday, so he might be out partying. Okay, the topic I kind of wanted to talk about, and I'm generally just not going to do politics on here. Really not. And this is going to kind of come off like politics, and I kind of apologize for that. But there might be, this thing's meant for adults, but I would like this to be something that younger people could watch. And to me, this is not as much of a political issue as it is a thinking issue or a social issue. Uh, I just noticed it late last night. There's a YouTuber I follow, and I don't have anything against the guy, and I think this is good to bring up because it might allow people to learn the facts or have a different perspective on it. But he posted a thing, and I did not even know this was a thing until I saw his Twitter feed. But apparently, there are people out there that are trying to make a big issue over the fact that the vice president didn't salute the military people. And the comment I made on it was, really, unless you want our country to kind of become a military dictatorship, you should actually be glad that she didn't salute him. And I firmly believe that. I really do. And to me, that should be the end of the discussion, because if you follow the news, and I'm an older guy, younger people have got far more interesting shit to do than worry about this. They don't teach civics in school that much anymore, and but to me, that should be the end of it. Unless you really want us to be a military dictatorship, you shouldn't want the civilian leadership. Because I made the comment, I go, the president, really the vice president, is not part of the military structure. If you actually look into it, the vice president, they used to make a joke of this. The vice president has one job and one job, well, really two jobs. They every day check to make sure that the president has a pulse. That's one of their jobs. And then they are to be ready to take over if the president dies. They're also president of the Senate, which is a largely a role they haven't done in a while, unless they go in to break a filibuster, or like unless they go over in to break a tie vote or something. And since most things require a 60 vote threshold to break the filibuster, there just aren't a lot of tie votes anymore. There just aren't. And the comment that came back kind of annoyed me. And it really shouldn't, but it did. Uh, but they put a thing in there that the problem with my opinion or problem with my stance on it is that and this is one of those things where everything they said was true, but actually had nothing to do with the issue. But I think they pointed out they had been in the military, which I hadn't, but and I'm going to talk about, like I said, this is not going to be really a political issue. I'm going to talk about a lot of things. But they pointed out that they were in the military, and they pointed out that the problem with my theory is that the military has to salute the president, and that, like, okay, yeah, they do, and so what? Usually my response to that is to point out, this is like, because I like to do this, and it doesn't have to be quite this shocking, but I usually look for things that are factual that are clearly not part of the discussion. So I'll make a comment like, usually the ones that are absolutely no use to anything. And usually you'll get a reaction. They'll look it up. And they'll be like, and I've actually gotten like, well, it's kind of disturbing that you know that, but they go, what the hell does that have to do with the discussion? I go, the same thing that what you just said had to do with the discussion. Absolutely nothing. The fact that the military has to salute the commander in chief has nothing to do with the fact that he shouldn't be saluting him back. There's a lot of things the military has to do. The president doesn't. The president doesn't have to follow the United States Code of Military Justice. But they went into this whole tortured logic system on why they should be saluting him. And usually the thing is, and I really recommend this to people, I really recommend this. You should not get into an argument when you don't know what's going on. You just shouldn't. Like, you should not get into an argument. There's some lawyer shows I watch, and the lawyers will be in there like, but you shouldn't ask a question in court unless you know where it's going. Well, same thing. You really shouldn't get into a discussion if you don't know what you're talking about, which clearly he did. Okay? And it's this pseudo militarism, like a military fetish is what I like to call it. And it hasn't always been like this, at least not to the level as it is. And so the factual things I pointed out, and I knew the one of them. The one I knew, the other one I didn't. But I knew for a fact that Eisenhower did not salute the troops. That I knew. This isn't the first time I've heard this. Just as a social thing, like if you are heavy into martial arts, or not martial arts, but like weightlifting and fitness, and you spend decades reading like weightlifting magazines, it's a thing that like every couple years, every 5 years, what you'll do is you'll see the same articles come around. So you'll find somebody that rediscovers preacher curls are really good for a certain part of your muscle, and somebody will rediscover that eating a high protein diet, and they'll write an article on it. It's something you won't pick up. Like if you're someone that's been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, and you'll start being, oh yeah, I read this like 10 years ago. I read this 5 years ago. For new people, they don't get it. And that's where this guy's at. This is some new revelation that he, you know, and with the martial arts, it's like it's the same thing. If you read martial art magazines for, decades and decades, you'll sooner or later find out that somebody else has discovered the lost punches of Taekwondo, or um, somebody will rediscover that some Filipino or Indonesian art is the deadliest art. I mean, it's the shit that goes. It's the cycle that goes around. And that's where this guy was at. He didn't realize that I'd already been down this road before. And so I pointed out, I go, okay, well, here's the thing. And I did this on my personal account. I didn't do this on my gigs. Again, I don't really want to do it, but I pointed out, I go, well, then you're going to have to explain why Ike, usually 8 o'clock, Central Time. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to explain why Ike, because here's the thing, I can honestly the truth. And I looked it up. Now, this I didn't know. I found this out yesterday. Apparently, the first 38 presidents, we've had 46, so all but the last 8, did not salute the military. These are facts. Feel free to look them up. Um, but they did not salute the military. That was not a thing that happened. And then I looked up. Apparently, uh, Ronald Reagan was when this started. When Ronald Reagan got in, he just, oh boy, he felt really happy to play soldier. He wanted to run around and salute all. And I got to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with that. If people want to salute them, they can. If they don't want to salute them, but that's when this started, this whole military fetish. And the other thing you'll see in this vein is the ones where they, you're not an American unless you're a politician that's wearing a flag pin, or you're not an American if you don't have enough American flags behind you when you stand up and give a press conference. And it went from people having a press conference to basically people having like a fetish session with the American flag. And the thing that I've noticed over the years is usually these people that fixate on the American flag so much are usually the least patriotic people you can find, or the reason they have those flags is because apparently it's the only way they can remember which country pays their ticket. And that's all I can tell you on it. That's my take on it. But when you've got people out there, and I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's somebody else, if they are basically trying to paint you as being unpatriotic because you don't agree with them, it's probably because they don't have the facts, or they don't have the facts or reality on their side. That's probably why. And it's not really that old of a movie, but it's actually based on It's based on actual events. It's called Trumbo. And I want to say this up front. I love John Wayne. I like watching his movies. I even some of his older ones, which I don't think are as good, I still like them. I do. But he considered himself a patriot, and I honestly do believe he felt that way. I really do. Uh I haven't had time to redo my I haven't had time to really fix up my uh ocean monument, so I don't have that, but I did drop off. Look around in your chest by the portal over by your base. I did drop off a few stacks of pumpkins, but I didn't turn them into lanterns. But there was this movie called Trumbo, and it pointed out like an actual real thing in history. John Wayne did not serve in the military. I don't know if he was 4F or if he got out of it because he was a big Hollywood star. But I think he honestly did what he felt he could to help out the military. And really, there's a lot that he did. It's what you would call like war porn. I mean, it's stuff that was just gung ho. It wasn't really based in reality, but he really did a lot to try and help the effort, and he really cared. He did. Um, but when they had that, and this is something a lot of you, if you're younger, you won't know about this. You'd have to like look it up or ask about it. But they had what I think they called it the Red Scare or the Pink Scare, and it was after World War II. It was in the late 40s, early 50s. Yeah, pumpkin lights are light level 15. They're the same level as your glowstone and your sea lanterns. And what they did was it went through Hollywood. They had like a blacklist. If you weren't considered patriotic enough, you got blackballed. If you weren't considered patriotic, blacklisted, and you work. And there was a guy named Trumbo who was like a writer. He did a lot of screenplays. He got blacklisted. He couldn't work. Well, the problem is he was one of the best screenplays that they had in Hollywood. So people started hiring him under a fake name. And they kind of go over this in there, but one of the scenes that they had in the movie, and as far as I know, it's true. This was not some made up thing for Hollywood. He got into it with John. And they were his friends, and they had all been blacklisted or they were on the verge of being blacklisted. And Trumbo, I think he did intelligence work. He he I don't think he wasn't the tip of the spear, but I think he did intelligent work or he did propaganda work, that kind of thing. And but there were a lot of his friends that they either got blacklisted or they were on the verge of getting blacklisted. And they were there protesting the blacklist and some of the other stuff that was going on in Hollywood. And John Wayne came there and kind of got in his face. And it was this shit you see like now, like, oh, well, Kamala Harris, I don't know about her. She didn't salute the troops. Here's the got people, some of them, they fought in combat. They had bullets whizzing by them. I think they can handle the fact that a black skinned woman did not salute them. I think they can actually get over that. I really think that they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to lose a lot of sleep over the fact that Kamala Harris did not salute them. I think they're made out of sterner stuff. And if they're not, it's not going to be good for them if they end up in a combat zone somewhere. But I'm pretty sure they're a little tougher than that. He asked me, he goes, "Where did you serve in the war?" And John Wayne's like, "What did you say?" And everybody was worried because it was John Wayne, you know. And he goes, "Well, are you trying to say something?" He goes, "No, I'm asking you a question. Where did you serve?" Because he goes, "I served here. That guy right there, he served." And he told him where he served. That guy right there, he served. And the one girl that everybody was shitting on, she had like I think both of her sons had served in the war. And he goes, "So I just think if we're going to have a discussion about patriotism and people's love and service to their country, because I think we should start with the fact that while most of us that you're, trashing here served in the war, let's point out where you were. You were on a soundstage wearing makeup, shooting blanks." John Wayne was pissed in the movie. And he goes, "And if you'd like to hit me, I'm going to take my glasses off." And they got John Wayne out of there because this guy was a pacifist. He wasn't going to fight back, but he also wasn't going to take any shit from this guy who didn't serve, on his patriotism. And you got the same thing going on now where these people want to shit on someone's patriotism because they can't win the argument on the facts. And the guy on Twitter did not do that, but it's like, to me, I've got like 2 followers, 3 followers. So if I say something stupid on Twitter, it's not the end of the world. But when you've got these people that have like a couple hundred followers or a couple thousand followers, when you start getting up to that level, if you're going to wade in on shit like this, maybe you should actually know what you're talking about because he got real quiet. I've seen likes on his stuff, likes on my stuff since, but he didn't offer any more comments. And it's like, if he would have just known the facts. And the one thing I wish people would do when they figure out they're wrong on this stuff, things that they are so sure that they're right on, I really wish that they would go and look and see what other stuff they're wrong about. And because this, I'm assuming because of his stance, he's probably a conservative person. And I just want to point this out. Um, After 9/11, this was a terrorist attack where all but one of the terrorists, I think it was 19 out of 20, they were all from Saudi Arabia. All of them but one was from Saudi Arabia. And so the conservative thinking was, let's invade Iraq. A country that literally had nothing to do with it. And that's a fact. Whether you like it or not, that's a fact. And then what happened was there were people that worked in the administration back then. And from what they were saying, day one when they got in, there was, "Hey, how you doing, Steak Love? Hey, say hi to everybody. We got Biker here. That's the lonely biker. He's the one that does the recruiting for the server. So if you actually want to join the server and play, you got to talk to him." And there were a lot of other countries that had more to do with 9/11 than Afghanistan or Iraq. But that administration wanted to get into Iraq and divvy up the oil. And so they were just looking for an excuse to do it. Um, I'm actually playing right now and talking. And this sloppy thinking that you have, and I don't care if it's on the left or the right, it's on both, but you see a lot more of it on the right, but not all of it. But it's this sloppy thinking that led us to invade like the wrong country after 9/11. We did not need to go to a war with Saudi Arabia, or I mean, Iraq. And it's this sloppy thinking. People are running off at the mouth on things they really don't know about. And you've got, if you really want to support the troops, quit sending them into wars they don't need to fight so you can make oil profits. And when they come home, make sure you have the money set aside to take care of them. When you do send them to war, uh, make sure that you spend the money you need to, yeah, playing, talking, and chatting. Yep, that's me right here. But, when these people go to war, make sure you actually spend the money on overtime and everything else. There is a little bit of a delay on the stream though, and I apologize for that, but it kind of helps me make a better stream. But just for the younger people out there, even the people that maybe aren't so young, don't let people bully you. I mean, try to find out the facts. Don't hold a position if you're wrong, but don't let people bully you on shit because there's too many of them out there. They're some of the dumbest fucking people you're ever gonna meet. But they're full of certainty. And I can't remember the quote. Somebody made the quote how it seems like all the stupid people are full of certainty and the smarter people are full of doubt. Don't be afraid to look up facts. Maybe don't be an asshole on a position until you actually know you're right, but don't be afraid to make informed choices. Don't follow the herd just because there's somebody with a loud fucking mouth running it. Oh, speaking of this, now this will get into something that's not political. Um, oh no, biker's leaving. Oh, biker's gonna help out. He's gonna get you the link and he's gonna post it in there for you because somebody didn't have the stream ready. I should have done that a while ago. I just haven't. Um, I've got health issues and there's a lot of this stuff. I think about it and I'm not really feeling up to doing it. And then when I feel better, I forget all about it. Like I know now that I need to do it, but there's a really good chance I might forget by the time I need to do it. Oh, and hey, I've been watching this show. I watched it when it was on, and I'm kind of limited on what I can watch. I gotta basically work with. If you're on the mobile, you will easily be able to join the server. I have to go through a proxy, but on the mobile, apparently you can put in servers. We are playing on a home server on somebody's computer, so you need to be able to access external servers. But yeah, you'll be able to get on. You just need to go through the access. And the only thing we ask is just come on and be a good person. Do your best. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got their strengths and their weaknesses. Just don't come on and be a griefer. Don't come on and be a hacker. We just had to kick some people off because apparently they were griefing. Uh, well, what you're going to do is he's going to, if you, I try to stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so I should hopefully be able to stream on Saturday. Come back on Saturday, and I will do my best to have it set up where I can give you a link to the Discord, and you can get on there. And I'll have a link for Twitter, so you'll be able to get a hold of me on Twitter or on the Discord, or we'll be able to get you a biker on the Twitter, and he can get you the application process. You fill it out. If somebody's griefing, yeah, just make sure you run it through Biker because him and BC are kind of in charge of the server. I just am on the server, so don't ask me for the rules because I'm not in charge of anything on the server. But I don't think they would mind if you've got somebody that's honestly griefing or hacking and you kill them. I don't think they would mind that a bit. Yeah, there's a TV show. It's an old one. I've been watching reruns on it. But we're actually looking for people to play. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be perfect. We're just actively looking for people that want to play because it makes the game more fun. It really does. But there's a TV show that I used to watch. It's called Spartacus. And I got to be honest with you. Like, when you see movies that are inspired or based on true events, understand that more often than not, they're what I'm going to call history porn. They're not real accurate. They're just not. And, like, I can't think of the Kate Blanchett, I think, was in them. There was a couple movies they did about Queen Elizabeth. I like the movies. I really like the movies. Yeah, there's nothing I haven't figured out how to fix that. I'm not entirely sure what caused it. I think it's just basically a lag on the internet where it speeds up like that. I haven't found a way to fix that yet. But I mean, I like them. I like the movies, but when you look into it, they take a lot of things. Yeah, if you connect with me, like if you come in on Saturday, we should have it set up where you can actually join our Discord, and then once you're on there, we'll be friends because you'll be on the Discord for this server. And then if you actually become a member, we have a members only Discord just for people that can actually play on the server, and you'll be able to get in there. And there is a little bit of a lag, so when I read something, I usually try to answer it as soon as I see it, but it can take like a minute or two for you to actually hear me talking about it on the stream. But but a lot of the times they do that where they have these things and it's kind of history-ish. It's not anything you want to really put as answers on. Yeah, I don't have it set up right now. I'll try and have it set up for Saturday. Hey, give me 1 second. Yeah, I think I've mentioned it a couple times. I don't have that set up for the stream. Let me see if I can grab it and just put it into the chat. Give me a second. There's the link. I should have done that a few minutes ago. I wasn't thinking, but I'm like, wait a minute, I can grab it on my tablet and just throw it in there pretty quick. I'm a bit older, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. I've been on Discord for about 5 minutes now. I just really haven't been spending a lot of time on there. And, you know, like they had I'm trying to think of the name of the TV show. It basically covered I think Mary Queen of Scots or something like that. She was for a brief period. She was. What I'll do is, as soon as the stream's over, I'll take a look and make sure you're set up. And the Discord is a work in progress. Whenever I get a moment, okay, Venus to go. Yeah, that way I know. I wish people would use the same thing on everything, because it's like this one and the realm I play on Sundays. You got all these people that have different names, so depending on where you see them, it's the same person, but it's all different names. And I have trouble keeping track of one name, let alone three names. But it was this show, and it basically covered the Queen of Scotland, who was married to France, so she was the Queen of France. It dealt with a young Mary Elizabeth, and there was like a couple other historical people. And I really liked the show, and I can't think of the name. I think it might be called Rain, and I liked it. I really did like it, but when I looked into it, it's like, yeah, this is not real accurate to history. It's just not real accurate at all. And but I watched this show on Stars, and it was, I want to say the first season of it came out like 10 years ago or so, and it was called Spartacus. And they did 4 seasons of it. Like there was Spartacus, then there was Spartacus Gods of Arena, which was like kind of a prequel, and then there was Spartacus Vengeance, and then there was Spartacus. Yeah, I understand. It's not really you, it's me. I just am really I have a I'm not really good at remembering names, and when I've got to try and remember three fake names for one person, it's not easy for me in the slightest. It's just an old guy complaining. I'm old. I get to be a little bit of a grump on that. But the I started watching this show, and it basically covers these people that were enslaved by Rome and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm just gonna be honest. It had nudity and it had a lot of violence. The acting was pretty good. I liked it. I did like it. I liked it for everything. Like they in the I don't know if it was Spartacus Vengeance or Spartacus War of the Damned. I think it was in Vengeance. They cut somebody's face off and his brain fell out. I mean, it's just horrible violence. I got a kick out of it. I was entertained watching it. And now that I'm watching it for like the second or the third time, I noticed they started using these historical figures like Pompey, uh, Julius Caesar. Crassus is one that I hadn't heard of. That was not a familiar name. But since it had like Pompey and a young Julius Caesar, I decided to look it up and see how accurate it was, you know? And I figured it was just shit. And I was okay with that. I never took it as being real historic. I figured it was like, The Sopranos. I honestly thought it was just based on shit. I didn't know that it was based on historical figures. Well, the second or third time I'm watching it, and I noticed that, I looked it up. Well, from what I was able to glean on the internet, in broad strokes, this thing actually covers the history. And they've got a fancy name for it, and I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. But it was basically like if we'd have had three civil wars, if we'd had three civil wars in the United States, we'd probably have three different names for the Civil War, you know. And like World War One, the war to end, it was the World War, the war to end all wars, and then well that didn't work, so we had World War Two. No, you don't change anything. We'll figure it out. No, don't change that. We'll figure it out. I'm still gonna probably gripe about it, but don't bother changing anything. We'll figure it out. We can live with the names. Um, Seriously though, like you're gonna probably fairly often have to remind me who you are because I'll be like, okay, what's your name on the game here? Pixel. We got a guy who plays Pixel Pizza. His Twitch name is Irrelevancy. Uh, I think there's one other person. They've got a different name on the server than they got on Discord. Every now and then I might forget who you are, and you'll just have to remind me. Don't worry about it. It's normal. And as I get older, it's probably going to get worse. Uh, but I looked it up, and the time period that's depicted in the show, it would be like the third major slave uprising that they had in Rome. But from what I got on the internet, it was the only slave uprising that was really a problem for Rome. What happened was, and it follows the story. They said like 70 gladiators escaped from a gladiator school, or what they call in the show a ludus. 70 of them escaped from a city called Capua. And what they started doing was they started liberating other slaves, including captured soldiers from other countries like Germany and France. And they called it Gaul, and they had another name for Germany, but that and from Africa and stuff like that. Well, the ones that could actually fight, they were actually able to train them fairly quickly, and they actually became a force to be reckoned with. And he killed the first. I can't think of that. I'm not really up on the Roman ranks. I'm not a military person, but even then, I don't know if I know the. But the guy had been a legatus, and he got bumped up to a higher rank, and I can't remember the name of that one. Well, they killed that guy. They defeated his troops and killed him. They sent two other generals after him, and that's not what they're called, but effectively they were generals, and they had a much larger force. Well, by the time those guys were dispatched, they had even a larger army on them. They ended up with like over 120,000 troops being led by these gladiators. And they were a force to be reckoned with. At a certain point, they were actually able to take over Roman cities. And then this is the guy I didn't know. And they portrayed him, I think, fairly, from what I could get on the internet, they portrayed him pretty accurately in the show. He was known as the richest man. And he had made a name for himself in one of their civil wars. And he was pretty much despised, but because of his wealth and because of his connection to the guy that won the Civil War, they couldn't really do much to him. Well, he was actually enlisted because they needed somebody that could afford to fund an army because the Senate couldn't. And Pompey and the largest number of forces they had were already dispatched with Pompey and somebody else, and they were not anywhere near where they could go after the gladiators. So he agreed to do it. And then he was an early patron of Julius Caesar. And a lot of what they did in the show was apparently lining up. I was actually surprised because I figured it was just a TV show they made for stars where they could show a little bit of nudity, a little bit of violence, and everybody would. I was entertained. But when I just recently found out that it was fairly accurate, I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. I got to move the, because I want to build that wall, but if I build the wall, it's going to stop my farm from working. Yep, that guy is going to die from hitting my thorned armor. Yeah, apparently, according to Biker, when you go there, you will have a spot where you can apply for the. He's added it to the Discord. Oh, I for anybody that got here late, BC told me it was his birthday today, so I sang the part of the Beatles, "You Say It's Your Birthday" song, and I was watching it, and I don't know if it's the original video or one that somebody put together, but it had the Beatles when they were younger, the Beatles when they were older, and you know, take this with a grain of salt because he's more talented than I am. He's got the money than I can prove it. But the guy Ringo Starr, I I don't really like the guy. I really John Lennon I liked. Paul McCartney I really liked, but Ringo Starr I just never really found him that to be that useful of a person. I really didn't. And I remember an interview that I heard. I either heard or I heard about it, and they were interviewing Paul McCartney, and I think John Lennon was there too. And they asked Paul McCartney if Ringo Starr was the best drummer in the world, and Paul McCartney did kind of did like a pause, and he's like, and he looked at the other people there, and he goes, "I'm not even sure he's the best drummer in the band." That was the thing. He wanted to to qualify. He's like, I'm not sure he's the best drummer in the band, let alone the world, because it sounds like there was at least one or two other people in the Beatles that were better drummers than him. It's just they couldn't be in places at once, and they had to find a drummer somewhere. And he talked about throwing shade on somebody. That to me is just hilarious. And yeah, I was watching that. That's all I could think of while I was watching it. And then the other thing that I've been watching lately is these celebrity ghost stories. And there's I don't know if the show's on the level. I really don't. I still find it fascinating because these people are actors and some of them are musicians. And I'm thinking it's possible that, you know, they catch these guys when they need a little bit of cash, and they tell them, hey, look, if you come in and tell some ghost stories, we'll pay you. And they're like, well, you know, that blow ain't going to pay for itself. And the other thing is, some of these people that are having them, you know, especially the band members and the movie stars, it could be a drug related hallucination. I really don't know. But I got to tell you, I watched a couple of them. I'm not going to get into it because I just don't want to be throwing that hate out there on somebody by name. Some of the ones I watched where it's like a band that I don't necessarily like, I'm actually glad that they were haunted. You know, I don't think they're good people. I don't like them. I don't like their music. So I actually thought it was kind of funny when I actually thought it was kind of funny when they were being haunted. I'm sorry, I laughed. I think I got to come up one more. I spent a good chunk of today getting these sandstones so I could work on this for the stream. I didn't want it to be like my Tuesday stream where I planned on doing a whole stream getting a couple stacks of glowstone and I knocked it out in like 20 minutes. I kind of wanted something I could do for the bulk of the stream here. I got to put some other farms in here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Either that, I got to find some, but this is where I was going to put some of the farms I'm growing, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the space. Just don't have an idea yet. Yeah, I'm going to lose it. I won't be able to do it after the update because right now the gold that I get it from I get it from those drown that I convert on from that zombie spawner. And apparently, after this update, they're going to start dropping copper, not gold. I don't think they're going to drop copper and gold. I think they're going to switch to dropping copper. So I'll have at least a little bit of a copper farm, but I'm going to have to probably make a gold farm. I don't really need a big one. I just need one so I can trade with the piglins and that. But this happens when I'm talking and I'm playing. I end up screwing. But so I'll have to Yeah, just tonight. Sword Steak was my 50th follower, so I finally hit that. I think hopefully by the end of next week, if not before, I will be back up on my metrics. Because for the longest time, all I needed was like the 50 followers and the average viewer, like average of 3 viewers. That's what I needed. And then when I had those couple of weeks where I just didn't feel good, I lost my days per week and my hours streaming. So I got to get those back up. And but if I can get like I got 3 viewers now, if I can keep getting 3 or 4 viewers to watch me regularly, this will take care of itself and I'll be okay. I got to keep plugging away. I got to keep having some positive stuff. Things will be okay. I was actually pretty pumped about that. That was kind of cool. After I don't know how much of it I'm going to get done on screen, but I'm going to, as long as I can tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and keep grinding out this build because I want to get a bunch of it done. And then I need to do a duet on TikTok with my older video where I can fly by and you'll get to see a side by side comparison of what's done now and what I had done before and throw that up on TikTok. I'm not having the luck with TikTok you are yet, but I think it's like all the other ones. It's like I'm over 100 now. I think I'm approaching 150. And as you get more followers, you'll start to see a snowball effect because every time you post, you're going to have more people seeing it than what was previous. But I'm over 100. I'm happy with it. And most of my videos, they don't go viral, but I get, most of my videos somewhere between 10 and 60 people, liking them. I don't know how many see them, but I get between 10 and 60 likes on most of them. And I'm happy with that for right now. If I can start making better videos, I'll get better likes. It's as simple as that. I just got to start making better content and then the likes will come with it. Because some of the videos I've watched on Twitter, or not Twitter, Twitch, they've said the same thing that it's you work a certain amount to get the first 50, and then when you hit a certain point, that's when you start to see major gains. But you also they those people that are saying that probably had better content than I'm capable of putting out right now. But I'm doing what I can. Like I said before, I don't even know if this is going to be successful, but it just feels better than giving up because there's so much. I struggle to do this sometimes, but there's so much that I can't do. At least being able to do this makes me feel a little bit. I think the best thing that we're doing is we might be attracting other players, and then hopefully those people that are playing on the server, like Pro, sometimes she makes it when she can. Pixel will jump in and see these when he can. Hayden, and some of them are busy with school. I get that, but Hayden usually tries to catch a stream when he can. But if we get more people that are playing on the server and they're able to actually come in and catch a stream, that'll help us build our audience, because they're on the server, they're going to want to help us out, and I think that's a good way to go too. Just doing what we can. Yeah. But I got to be honest with you. Um, Seeing you succeed like you are, it's making me feel pretty good, even if I can't or if I don't go as fast, because a rising tide's going to lift all the boats. And as you get bigger and you're on the server, as you get noticed, it'll help us get noticed. But seeing you do well feels like a victory. It really feels like a victory. Made it over an hour. I'm gonna go as long as I can, but I'm already starting to feel it. But I've had a pretty good. I think I've had a good stream. And it seems like there isn't as big of a lag on this because I sort of have the stream going so I can kind of see what's going on, and I'm not seeing as much of a delay between what I when I say it and when I hear it on the tablet. So that's kind of cool. I was off to a rocky start, man. I was really off to a rocky start. Um, the first hiccup I had, and well, this started yesterday. The YouTube app that I was watching on the TV, the one TV I had took a shit, so I'm using a different one. It looks a little funky, but I can use it. But the uh, the YouTube app that I used to watch on the TV, it it uh, it was acting up. It kept telling me this was yesterday. It kept telling me that I didn't have enough memory to run it, and I was going to have to delete some apps. And I'm like, well, I was working like it had worked like right when I started the stream the other day because I had it so I could look up a song to sing at the beginning of my stream yesterday. I did it early. Well, then when I got done with the stream, I went to go see what I could watch on YouTube. And it was telling me that I didn't have enough memory. I'm like, well, this is fucked up. And I deleted a bunch of there's a bunch of stuff that Roku put in there that I don't use. So I started deleting them out of there, and it still didn't want to work. So I deleted it and I reinstalled it. Still didn't want to work. And then so I was like, okay, I give up. I guess I figured the TV was going to shit. It's like they're old TVs, they're loners. I got to live with what I can use. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna go to shit. That's just the way it is. This one's going to. Well, I deleted it. I installed it. Still didn't want to work. So I'm like, okay, this one's going to hell. It's probably gonna die. Maybe it would still work, but I figured the Roku app was going to shit on it. And well, then at a certain point in there, I it gives you an option like if you bring up the menu on it where you can delete it, move it, recommend it. There's a thing where you can report it, and I reported on there that it wasn't working. I can't get it to launch. And I'm working, so I'm guessing Google actually on it. And that's to shit too. Nothing I can do about it. And Well, then today, when I started launching my software, uh, the stream elements, this thing works better. I think the stream works better. It seems like it works better because it has less of a CPU footprint. There's things it doesn't do, but it takes up less of the CPU. So when I'm trying to stream, it works better. Well, when I launch it, it's got like these docks that come up, and a bunch of them are built in. Like you've got the scenes, the sources, the mixers for your different audio sources, scenes transition, and then the controls for launching the stream or recording it or shutting it down, going in to do the settings. Well, there's these other docs that I have to open up, and one of them is the stream information where I can change the title of the stream, the category, the tags on it, and the other one brings up the stream chat. And so on there I can actually see the chat. Well, the two pop-ups, the system information, the stream information, and the stream chat, they didn't pop up. Oh, hey, welcome, Mr. Gaming. Thank you very much. And I couldn't figure it out. No matter what I did, those things just would not pop up. And I'm like, oh, great. First it's YouTube, now this thing's dicking up on me. Uh, and I did a quick look, and here, basically what I had to do is it had gotten disconnected. I just had to reconnect it in the settings. But the fact that it did that, well, then when I launched it today, it took me like 3 tries to get the Xbox Companion to work. It kept crashing or freezing on me. And I'm thinking, I'm just not going to be able to stream today, you know? Yeah, I really, we are playing on a private server. Join the Discord, and there is a tab in there on how to apply to play on the server. This is not, this is done on a home server. You have to be able to join external servers. If you are on an Xbox or PS4, it can be done, but you have to use a proxy server, and we can help you with that. If you are playing on mobile or on the PC Bedrock version, you can actually join the server. Uh, Biker is, yeah, there we go. Biker's in charge of recruiting for the server, but yes, you can join. The big thing is don't be a griefer, don't be a hacker, don't be a pain, and you are welcome to join it. We're looking for people that are going to play because they make the game a little more fun. And there is a bit of a stream delay, so there's stuff that you guys will talk about in the chat, and when I comment on it, you won't hear about it for like a minute and a half. From me, anyways. Hey, it's Biker's cousin. Can I get everybody to say a happy birthday BC in the chat, because he was making a big deal about it being his birthday today. So can everybody say happy birthday BC in the chat? Biker can tell him about it later. Oh man, I thought for a minute I really screwed up the build and was gonna. I hate tearing shit down, especially when I build it wrong. I just never finished this one. Okay, everybody in chat, do you believe that a frog's ass is watertight? I need a yes or a no. That's the question of the day for the stream. They're probably going to be mostly bizarre or strange, but I'm going to start trying to do a question of the day for every one of the streams. And then if I actually get some action in the chat like I got tonight, I'll actually fire it up. And if I don't get a lot of action, I'll just leave it there until I do. I'm not going to waste it, but we got a pretty lively chat going, so I figured I'd throw it in there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with. Oh man, look at that! I screwed it up. Screwed it up. Okay, that one's right. Yeah, I did that one wrong. Yep. It's usually one of those rhetorical questions, like for the younger people, it's like one of those rhetorical questions, like, someone will be like, well, hey, are you going to help us out on this? Is a frog's ass watertight? And it's usually it's a way of saying yes to something. Or does a bear crap in the woods? Or is the Pope Catholic? That kind of stuff. Just a rhetorical question. And there's this movie, it's got Michael Keaton. He played the bad guy recently in one of the Spider-Man movies. That might be where you know him from. Well, he was in this show called Gung Ho, and it was made in the '80s, and it was about a auto company that went. They made cars. They went out of business, and Michael Keaton was the guy they sent over to Japan, and he was basically over there trying to beg them to build a car in his town because without the auto company, it would have sank the town. And he convinced him to do it. He convinced him to do it, and apparently the head guy, the whole reason he did it is because Michael Keaton made him laugh. And there was a scene in there. They're like, "Well, are you telling us that you can build this car for us?" And he goes, "Is a frog's ass watertight?" I mean, he just said it real matter of factly. And all these Japanese guys went into a huddle and just started whispering to each other. And they turned around, and the one guy that was speaking for him goes, "We believe it is." And they ended up bringing it over. It's I don't know, it might be a little dated now. It was actually a pretty good movie. There's a scene in there where when he's over there in Japan trying to get the business, he runs into this guy, and this is the guy they send over to run the plant. He's sitting there being yelled at in this room, and he's wearing a coat, and he's got all these like ribbons and medals on his jacket. And he sees the guy, and he goes, "Wow, man, you must be employee of the month with all that." And the Japanese guy that was yelling at him, he goes, "They are ribbons of shame," and he's just a total dick. And Michael Keaton looks at the other guy, he goes, "If I was you, I'd wear them on the inside," and meaning inside the jacket. Don't advertise them. Come on, biker. It shouldn't take you this long to figure out if you think a frog's ass is white or tight. You should be able to come up with a yes or a no a little quicker than this. And Mr. Gaming, come on, guys. Is a frog's ass watertight? That is the question of the day. I guess I'm going to have to make these questions a little easier going forward. I stumped them. I think Mr. Gaming left. I don't think he's here anymore. I'm gonna try and do. I'm just trying to make the stream a little more fun. So I can't remember. I was watching one of these videos where they tell you how to pump up your streams a little bit, and the one guy said, "Yeah, do a question of the day to get conversations going." So I'm gonna do my level best. I'm gonna fail, but I'm gonna fail some of the time, but I'm gonna do my level best to come up with strange or bizarre questions that'll maybe get. I mean, just at least get a laugh out of it and stuff. Okay. Well, it's been over an hour, and I think what I need to do is take a break, and because I'm getting a little lightheaded. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get some more resources, and I'm going to try and get a little bit more done. And then today or tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and do my TikTok stream where I can show off because I actually got a fair amount of progress done today. Hey, I want to thank everybody for coming in and Steak, Mr. Gaming. I hope to see you on the server soon. Just remember, you know, play serious, don't be a pain, don't grief, don't hack. And I think the rest of it will take care of itself. Well, everybody, peace out and have yourself a great night. Hey, Steak, I will be on the Discord right after this, and I will try and help you out with that.